Hello, everyone. Welcome to the YNE podcast. Thank you for joining us. And if you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button, like, share, and engage us in the comment section. So we're talking about the changes the Minister of Education or the Ministry of Education in Nigeria is making in regards to removing math requirements from students that are studying art-related courses in the universities. What's really driving the removal of math as a requirement for art students? If you think about it, I believe math is used in everyday life. When you're trying to spend money, when you're trying to make a budget, when you're trying to buy anything, you use math. So I think it's important that kids going to college should be able to at least pass math. They should be able to do a secondary school level math so that they can gain admission into university. I think the minimum is a credit, and that shouldn't be too hard to get. I know it's difficult these days for kids to pay attention and understand math, but I believe we use math in everyday life. It's not like biology or chemistry. I mean, all these courses, they have their relevancy in our everyday lives, but math, I think math is important, right? When you're spending money, when you're buying anything, when you're reviewing a product, when you're trying to take a measurement, math comes in place. So I don't think that's a good idea for removing the requirement for the people studying arts. What do you think?
I think this is one of those a very difficult subject to talk about. Yeah, a lot of us hate math, and in fact, let me be honest with you, there is nobody dead or alive that hate math more than I do. Okay, but I think the idea of removing it as a requirement for university admission for core art students, I don't think it sits well with me as a Nigerian. It just looks like we are dumbing down the level of education or the requirement for university education. I think they should still keep math as a requirement. In fact, if there is issue with, people struggling with math, people like me, I think they should look for a root, cause of that problem. Language could be an issue, trying to understand English language, and people using, English language to teach math. I think they should be looking for a way to see how they can even use, start using our mother tongue to, to approach, teaching math. I think by so doing, I think many people will grasp the concept quite better than trying to understand English. In fact, even some of our teachers are not even helping the situation. Some of our math teachers tend to be, I say, the most wicked people. A lot of them have no chill. A lot of them, I think they should look for a better way to teach math to the students instead of trying to take a shortcut out of a situation we find ourselves as a nation. Maybe we can develop, a different way to teach math. In fact, not just math, like those core this thing like mathematics, chemistry, physics. I think the federal government or federal ministry of education should be looking for a better way to teach this subject so that people will understand this concept better. But the idea of removing math, because I was listening to a TV program today on Arise, and one of the presenters or one of the analysts was trying to make the argument that taking math from a primary school till junior secondary, that should be enough math for anybody trying to venture into art related majors like law, maybe fine art and all of that stuff. And there's this professor that was there, Professor Anthony Killer. Professor Anthony Killer was made the argument that we need math in our everyday lives, that the idea of removing the math is not quite okay. For me, it's not. I think we should continue to do math. I think they should keep it as a requirement. Yeah, math is just one of those subjects that you can get rid of because it's not convenient for you. I think we should still keep it there. But from what I read online, there was not really a concrete reason for removing it.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I think the main reason that they put it out was that It's stopping people from getting admissions into universities. About 2 million people take UTME exams, and only 700,000 get admissions. And it is because of math that people are not performing well in math. And to your point, I think it's all about how the subject is being taught in school. I remember struggling with math when I was in Nigeria, but when I got here, it was revealed to me in another dimension. So I was able to grasp it real quick. So I think maybe when we can really teach math, and I know there are other people in Nigeria that understand math better. They've never struggled with math. They just understand concepts and understand that we all learn different, right? We're different people. We learn differently. We understand things differently. Like I said, I struggled with math when I was in Nigeria, but after studying math here, it becomes a lot easier. I understand it better now. So maybe if we're teaching math in our own language, in our own local languages, maybe that will help our students understand the context and math as a subject better, and they can continue to perform better when they do these exams. So I don't really see a problem with that, but I know people are lazy these days. We learn differently. We're different people. We understand things differently. And I also want to touch on the teaching aspect. You know, if we have good teachers out there helping kids to understand math, maybe that would be a lot easier. I mean, my hatred for math started when I was in primary school in Nigeria. I mean, my other subjects, English, I'll get an A, excellent result. But in math, I was always struggling because I never liked it, right? Never liked it. But as time went on, I started to fall in love with it when, I found a better teacher and things like that. So I think if we're able to teach our children in the language they understand, maybe that will give them the understanding they need to be able to do better on exams, do better on math, and they can continue to gain admissions into universities. But the idea of removing it completely, I think that is a no-no. Yeah, we should not be dumbing it down. And we shouldn't be making it too difficult either, because in Nigeria we've found of making things too difficult, right? And even in colleges and universities in Nigeria, they make you take 8 classes, 9 classes every semester, and it's really ridiculous. It's really difficult. The professors will want to see you in class every day. The stress alone is a lot. And I'm sure that's why a lot of Nigerians, when they go outside of the country, they do better in schools because they've already used to that stressful educational environment. And coming here or going outside of Nigeria, it will just be like a walk in the park for them. So I think they don't need to dumb it down. All they need to do is to make learning interesting, make understanding math interesting for people, and then people can actually dive deep into it, continue learning math and enjoying it and passing it and be able to gain admissions.
Yeah, I agree with you. And if the argument or their reason is for more people to get into universities, I think that is a very lazy argument because people go to school, graduate in Nigeria, at least on average, Nigeria probably pump out about 1 million or 1 million plus graduates in Nigeria every year. How many of them are getting jobs? So you just want to add to the problem, there's really no reason to put more people through schools or for more people to get admission because at the end of the day, there's really no job for them. And I also want to believe or think that they should be considering removing post-UME and JAM. They should look for a way to scrap those two bodies and then just leave it up to their universities to conduct their own entrance exams to admit students to come up with requirements or their own exam, start administering their own individual exams, and start admitting people that they feel like they have met the requirements for the admission. So, yeah, I think JAM should be scrapped. And two, another thing I want to say is no matter what you study in America, no matter your major, you must do some level of math. in your first, probably first semester, second semester, up until second semester, maybe math, 111 or math 100, In fact, if care is not taken, you will probably do like this thing, is it a quantitative reasoning? So people trying to make the argument that math is not a requirement in America, I think no matter what you're studying, you must do some elementary math in college. So I think the minister should reconsider it. There's actually no reason to dumb it down for anybody, and to even think that math is almost the foundation of everything you can think of in this universe is even more reason why they need to look for a better way to teach it, and make it interesting. Because I really have no idea why math teachers generally in Nigeria, wherever you find them, Lagos, Abuja, Delta State, they all seems to have one kind of behavior, very mean people. And I think that, gives, some people impression that, this is a difficult subject. I think they should look for a way to loosen up and make learning math interesting. Yeah. Let us know what you think in the comment section. Are you for or against them removing math as a requirement for university education for core arts majors, or what do you think? Let us know in the comment section, and we'll be happy to read your comment. And thank you for your support.